think all in all, this year's jury is of as high or even more high quality than we had last year. And I think the conversations that ensued based on the discussion of this work showed that.
Potomac Valley Brick is pleased, to have this jury here. You know, you all have a lot of experience, and I'm really privileged to have you all here. We're also very excited by the entries.
Vivian Lofness, Professor of Architecture at Carnegie Mellon University. We had the luxury of 4 judges, and one was a distant judge, but was able to evaluate all the entries online. And as is typical in a jury like this, with a good number of submissions, is that your first pass is to look at the strength of the overall submission and start to select the ones that are really strong, both in terms of their aesthetic quality as well as their technical clarity. And as we start to narrow down, we spend a lot more time reading and looking at every diagram and trying to be really sure that we understand the solution. So this is my second year on the jury of the Brickstainable competition, and I think that it does a number of things that are really invaluable. Number one is it makes a broader number of students and professionals really focus in on a material and how many ways you could really understand and use a material to solve environmental challenges. And I think that's an invaluable effort, both for the professionals and the students that enter this competition. So it's really fun to look at these projects, and I think that those who are looking at them online will really enjoy seeing how people solved, in this case, specific climatic issues from this region. And I think, and then in the technical product development from several climate regions. Number one, brick is a material that has a thermal capacitance. It can store heat and it can store coolth. And then finally, I think what we began to see is the exploration of brick as a, not just a visual surface for walls and interior floors, but also as a structural component and one that is highly crafted that makes for really beautiful exposed structural elements.
My name is Anna Dyson, and I'm director of CASE, the Center for Architecture, Science, and Ecology. I think these kinds of competitions are really, really important for refreshing the discourse around common manufacturing processes. And what was really nice about a competition like this is that you had a lot of entries from professional offices, you had a lot of entries from student groups. There was a real cross-pollination of ideas across the spectrum, and that's a really important thing. I think it's just incredibly refreshing for professionals also to be competing and in discussion with what's happening in the academy and what's happening in universities and vice versa. I think what's important about this competition, as opposed to, let's say, some other competitions, is it focuses in on one material that we think we know so well, but that we really need to question. We really need to think about these materials that people associate with historical or traditional buildings, but in fact they carry so many properties that might actually really refresh our repertoire for contemporary buildings and make contemporary buildings, in fact, a lot more sustainable. Plus, people just love bricks, so I think it's important for architects to remember, that bricks are very popular and that brick buildings are cherished.
Hi, I'm Bill Browning. I am a partner in Terrapin Bright Green, a research and consulting firm based in Washington, D.C. and New York City. As we move to try to do net zero energy buildings, we really have to rethink the physics of the building. And one of the key components of that is looking at the thermal performance of the building. And for so many years, we've looked at buildings that trying to make them lighter and lighter and lighter and less mass. And so you really lose the ability to have a time lag in the performance of the building. What I love about this competition is that it gives people the ability to step back and think about a traditional material in new ways. And you can see that both in the technical entries and in the building entries, that there's some really creative thinking about performance of brick, and people saying, oh, well, it has hydroscopic capabilities, and how does that affect the humidity balance in the building? That sort of level of thinking moves you beyond just thinking about materials as a structural piece or as a decorative piece, but also how they affect how you feel, the comfort and the performance inside the building. It's fun to watch a design competition, particularly as one that continues, to see the richness of solutions increase over time and the diversity of entries increase over time. This was a really fun competition and well run, and I'm hoping that the number of entries continues to expand and the interest. It was fantastic to hear that people from 62 countries were interested in it this year. Maybe 100 countries next year.